Hello everyone and welcome back to another Photo Mish Mash. I'm Christina.
And I'm Toby.
And this is episode 82, the last episode of 2015.
Year in review. Welcome back, everybody. I am Toby, photographer and educator.
And I'm Christina. I'm a full-time wedding photographer. And each week we bring you the week's news. We bring you Instagram challenges. We announce the winners from said Instagram challenges. And we have general discussions about photography.
That's right. And usually we answer your questions live. But tonight we're going to skip all of that. And we're really going to make this about your photos, your favorite photos of 2015. And also, do you know what one of my favorite parts of this whole year-end thing is?
Nope.
Yes, you do. Lists. I love those lists. The top 10 this, the top 100 that. I have scoured the internet. Not really. I looked a little. Found a couple lists I thought were interesting, and I want to talk about them and share them with you all, along with your favorite photo of 2015.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a slideshow with most of the photos that were submitted, all of the photos that were submitted that followed all the rules.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
excited
good.
to get started.
So should we get right into it?
As opposed to what? As opposed to like awkward talk.
Awkward talk, hot chocolate toasts to a good year.
It was a good year, yeah.
Do they make vintage hot chocolate? Like, you know, this was bottled in... No. It would go bad, wouldn't it?
They don't do that with chocolate.
They don't? They do it with chocolate?
No, they don't.
Oh.
I mean, they do...
Is there such thing as aged chocolate?
There's such thing as artisanal chocolate. That's probably the closest. I think
Okay.
you're supposed to eat chocolate or make chocolate when the seed is fresh.
Now that we killed our audience with random chit-chat, let's get right into the week in review, or in case you missed it. This is that segment of the show where we talk about stuff that we have put out in the last week, and we don't really have anything. Go back and watch those gift guides. Those are wonderful, but we haven't put out anything last week. We have some good stuff coming. But what we do want to take a moment and mention is that you have a chance to meet us live. It sounds a little funny to say. I'm not that full of myself to say that, but we would love to meet you all. And we're going to be at the McKay's studio just outside of Sacramento, January 6th. That's next week. Next week is 2016. Are you prepared for 2016?
No.
Me either.
No.
Tough tooties, says time. So January 6th at 6 p.m. just outside of Sacramento. And I had the address written here somewhere, but it'll all be in the show notes linked right down below this. We actually only have about 5 spots available left. They got a decent sized studio, can hold about 40-ish people, and we're at 35, I think right now, or 36 when I checked yesterday. So if you are in the area, you'd like to come meet us, chat a little bit about our travels, our favorite photos, beyond just our favorite photo of this year, and have a good time with other like-minded photographers and amateur photographers, then you should come along. Link will be in the show notes right down below to sign up and let us know. You need you to RSVP, otherwise you may find that the place is full and you drove for nothing, and that would be sad. So make sure you RSVP so that we can give you your virtual ticket. Next, we move on to a section called Gear on the Table, where we talk for a few moments about gear that happens to be sitting on the table. In the gear gift guide last week, I talked about this Movo motion time-lapse rotator. You put a camera on here and you tell it to rotate 360 degrees or less over a certain period of time. Pretty nifty, pretty simple, 99 bucks, really adds some nice dynamic motion to time-lapse. Well, the guys at Syrup have sent me basically what you can consider...
Their company name is Syrup?
SYRP. I think you say it's Syrup. Any other way you would pronounce that?
Nope.
Oh. This is the Syrup Mini Genie. They make a bigger, very powerful motion control thing that can move along sliders and rotate. This just does rotation. Basically what this does, but you can see that it's much smaller. You can charge this from a little micro USB, which I like. This has to be charged from something else. Your phone talks to it, And you use a little interface on your phone to set up the length of time you want it to move and all of that. And here's what really makes this potentially for some people worth the extra money, because it is $250. It has a port that will talk to your camera, and so it will make sure if you're on a faster motion time lapse that it will actually pause that motion for the camera to take a picture so that you don't get a blurry shot in motion. This Movo does not do that.
As somebody who has not used either for any significant length of time, can I just talk about a few of the differences that I noticed?
Sure.
Well, I appreciate the sleek design of this thing. It's cool. There's also this like corkboard stuff.
You like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I wonder if it's more sustainable or if it's, I don't know. This one just has like your standard sort of grippy type material. But I will say that I like the little marks here for degrees. I don't know why. I like that sort of instant visual notification of like how far along it is.
Yeah.
Even though you can see it on the app.
Right. Yep.
I do appreciate that you can very easily tell
Exactly where it is.
and it's also much cheaper.
Yeah, $99 versus $250. But again, I think the real power of this is if you're doing a time lapse. I said it kind of funny before, but if you're doing a time lapse with longer exposures and you're moving rather quickly, you do want this device to pause while it has your camera take a picture. That to me is the big difference between these two. I've done 2-second exposures rotation on here, you know, at a decent speed, and you don't really see any blurring of those. But other thing is that you're going to be able to pair two of these together in an app update coming soon to do rotation and panning. You get an L bracket, and then you've got two small devices. That's $500 you're talking about, but two small puck, basically big hockey puck sized, and you've got motion like that.
It's definitely is cool, but at the same time,
I think we should stack them, set one to rotate one way, one to rotate the other way, and see who wins.
Can you do that? Can you have them rotate in the other direction? Is that a feature?
Yeah.
Oh,
both
cool.
of them will rotate clockwise and counterclockwise.
So will the camera just stay in the same place?
Yes, we think, unless one wins the battle.
We should try.
Should we move on to the next piece of tech?
Yes.
Now, we also had one of these type devices in our gift guide. It was the, what do we have? We had the Pilot Fly H1 Plus, which is on loan to me. I think I broke it.
Don't say that. He did not break it.
I can't make it work right anymore, and I don't feel like doing all of that plug-in stuff. But this one, these guys, Zhiyun, this is the Smooth CR Professional 3-axis handheld stabilizing gimbal. Now this one is only for smartphones and GoPros. It's not as big as the other. It's much cheaper, about $250 I believe as well. And I've only used it a couple times now. Is it on there? And hold this down. Oops, I keep turning it off. So far, I've been really impressed with it. This thing seems, oh, maybe the batteries, oh, no, there it goes. There it goes. It just works. It's worked with the LG V10. The footage, I was running next to my kids sledding, and then we used it cross-country skiing a little today. We went cross-country skiing today. We had a little bit of winter in Vermont. It's nice.
Yeah.
And in both of these cases, whew, this thing is nice. It's small, it's lightweight, it works well. I'm really impressed. I can't compare it against any others other than the larger ones we've used for DSLRs, and I like this a lot better size and shape. Of course, it doesn't have DSLR on it. That's a downside. But when you compare it to something like the DJI Osmo, I mean, I've got my LG V10 in here, which can shoot 4K, and I have manual control over that if I use a camera like the LG V10. Or we've got some apps coming out that I mentioned the other day on Facebook that allow you to do some more controls of video. So I like this because as phone tech upgrades, you can continue to use this device and update your camera. I would like us to be able to find one that does larger devices that we're really happy with.
Yes, and we're going to check out the Cam TV.
Yeah, we're going to check that out soon as well. But this is impressive, and I haven't been able to make it go crazy yet. Well, you saw it, that was a little bit. but some of the other ones, when you get to certain angles, will then get the jitters and the shakes and things like that. So pretty nifty. This one did I say it's the Z1 Smooth C? We're doing a full review, hands-on with it soon, and follow along on Facebook. I'll try to get up some of the video I shot from it so far in the next day or two on Facebook if I can. Well, maybe not the next day or two. We actually have a wedding tomorrow. So we're going to be a little bit busy.
Yes, we do. All right,
yeah.
What's next?
That, I think, where'd my document go, is the end of... Oh, no. We've got Christopher's eye cups. Now, he's the guy who sent us along. He's selling these on eBay. Eye cups for the Sony A7 series, A7R, Mark II, A7, all this Sony A7 series. Really nice. Blocks out a lot more light, a little bit more cushy, great for video. And he wants to give some of these away. We're going to put a link to his Instagram account right down below, along with some directions on how you can win one of these if you're a Sony user. And we'll have it coming up. He also has this little button modification. Gel butts. Gel butts. They're not gel butts. Gel buttons. I don't know what to call them because I don't remember. But they make many of the Sony buttons that are kind of hard to find a little bit easier to say, oh, there's the record button right where my finger thinks it should be, and I can feel it and I can press it. So look for that link in the show notes right down below. People watching live, we haven't got the show notes there yet, but we will very soon. All right?
Okay.
I think that's all of the gear on the table. So we can move on to some news. You ready?
Not quite. Why don't you take us to the news?
Okay. So we always have more news stories than we cover. Roy and Scott have put some lovely news articles in here for us. We're going to mostly cover those lists that I want to, but I will mention that Scott actually put this in last week. There are 8 times more people taking photos now than 10 years ago. 8 times the amount. That's a large amount, and somewhere I heard, chat room, maybe you can help me out, something like 1 trillion photos in the last year had been uploaded to various social networks. I could be completely making that up, but it seemed like, oh, and Christopher's in the chat room, button enhancers. That's a better name than gel butts. I think he'll sell them better. So keep that in mind. And Jeffrey's upset that there's no Liam on the table. We had him on the table, but we had a slow start.
And
so
he got bored of us.
He got bored of us. And if you notice, you might not, Christina's not doing any of the switching tonight. No. Riley, who we don't have a camera for yet, is doing the switching. And so far, I think he's doing a fabulous job. I can't really tell. I'll have to watch afterwards. Riley, I think you're doing fantastic.
Yes, thank you, Riley.
All right. So a couple of rundown bits of information real quick. But before we get to this, let's play the first group of your favorite photos from 2015. Now, I asked you all to submit them. I asked you to make sure they're HD size and to make sure that they were file named your name. So there were a lot of them I had to cut out that didn't meet 1 or 2 of those criteria. I also asked you to submit 1. I realized it's very difficult to pick your most favorite photo of 2015.
You gotta do it.
But I'm not gonna be the picker, and if you submitted more than that, I picked the first one I came across. So, with that said, let's watch our first batch of favorite photos from 2015. great. It's so much fun to see folks' favorite images. There's so many fantastic images in there that it's fun every year to do this. We did it last year, and we're going to do it again next year. I thought about what my favorite image is, and I think I'll share a little bit later on. It's not a big secret. People have seen it. Even recently, they've seen it. But have you thought about your favorite image of 2015?
No.
No.
I mean, I have thought about it, but it's really hard to choose. I don't know how you guys did it.
They all did it. Hundreds of people did it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, Liam's calling.
He is calling. I'll let him in.
Okay.
Come on, Liam. So, yeah. Now we want to talk a little bit about news. I said that bit about
Yes.
a lot of people taking pictures. Yes. But let's move on. A couple of things. Tokina has announced a 14-20 f2 lens. This is going to be a really nice lens that I think is going to challenge Canon and Nikon's offerings, as well as Sigma's 18-35, although this isn't quite that range, but it is an f2. And we just love to see these third-party options coming online that give us great options as well. Let's talk a little bit about the 2015 National Geographic Photo Contest.
Yeah, let's look at some of those pictures.
Riley, if we could share my screen. The grand prize winner is this one called Dirt. A rare and jaw-dropping anticyclonic tornado touches down in open farmland in Colorado.
That's amazing.
It is an amazing photo because so often when you get these tornadoes, all kinds of other stuff is going on. The sky is very hazy and cloudy and debris, and this is just such an amazing defined image. It's awesome. Let's click through a couple more. I feel like this orangutan in the rain I saw someplace recently. Another just awesome picture that is just really cute. A flock of alpine chews, a species of mountain-dwelling bird, performing acrobatic displays in the air.
Crazy.
During a windy day, I was able to immortalize their skills. It doesn't tell us what gear they used, which, doesn't always matter, but it is kind of nice to know. That's another beautiful picture. I wanted to get to this one because this is...
Whoa.
He said he worked on this image, or trying to capture this image, for 18 days, as there were only 5 to 10 minutes each day when the light conditions were appropriate. 90% of his efforts to capture this image were not successful.
See, that's what I feel like is photography. And I know that this sounds so elitist and silly, but that is what I think of, the true, older photographers, that they went out and they waited and waited and waited until they could capture these amazing pictures. And anyway,
they took the time.
They took the time, yeah. And now everything's so easy for us. It's like, you've got instant gratification. You can see the photo right away. And I guess, if you're looking to take a photo like this, you still have to wait and be patient. And so obviously, because I'm sure this person was able to chimp and have.
Right. But
I don't know what I'm saying.
Have some more hot chocolate.
I'm fading.
You almost drank it too.
I am out of my hot chocolate. I need a refill really badly.
Okay. I want to mention that Roy's got a link about registering a drone is very easy. I heard that something like 140,000 drones were registered in the first couple of days that registration is open. And somewhat related to that, it's drone information at least, is that autonomous Lily drone delayed. Or why pre-ordering undeveloped tech isn't all it's cracked up to be. I wanted to talk about this for a moment because, one, that Lily drone is that cool little handheld nano drone, or maybe a step up from nano, that has a camera, HD quality, and it's one of those things that you could have pre-ordered last year for some reasonable amount of money, like $500 or $600.
And now it's super expensive because it's all demands.
It's not out. No, it hasn't come out. Nobody can buy it. It's delayed. It's been delayed, I think, a couple times now.
Was it on Kickstarter?
I don't know if it was Kickstarter or if they did their own thing, which is always...
And does this have a built-in camera? Tell me more about it, because I don't really know that much about it.
It's this. We can go to my screen, Riley, sorry. If It is this little cool, slick, kind of self-contained unit that has a camera, and they say currently over 200 have been produced, and Lilly, the company, is focusing on putting them into rough test conditions. But, you know, it's similar to, it makes me think of that 16 camera cell phone looking thing, the light camera that's supposed to be coming within the next year, and people were all the rage talking about that a couple of weeks ago, or a couple months ago now, I think. And it was one of those things where you could pre-order it. It was completely separate of Kickstarter. You could just give them your money, and they said next year you'll get something. It does look like cool technology, but it's one of those things where I would not give those people my money yet, because
But
so
it looks like
often,
it's got such a cute face on it.
So often, yes.
Look at the little eyes.
Well, now we know who it's marketed to.
Except I didn't buy it and probably won't.
Right.
So.
Well, you do owe me a drone. Drone update, still broken.
We haven't even tried to fix it.
Nat, my brother, who's staying with us right now, did try to fix it today for a while.
And it still didn't work.
Still didn't work.
Fine, I owe you another drone.
I think you owe me the Lily whenever it comes out. But no, so it just, you know, if you've got money to burn and you kind of like this, it's almost a gambling aspect on these bits of technology, that's fine. But if you are looking to purchase something to use, being on the bleeding edge like this is not a good idea. So, that's all. Just wanted to say that, share that with people. And let's move on to a first top 10 list. Actually, it's not a top 10 list. It's DP Reviews, their gear of the year. And I wanted to touch on it and see if you had any opinions on what they've picked as their gear of the year. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So they did a nice thing. They did ask different editors within their company, within DP Review, to pick their favorite gear of the year. And we have Weinmay's choice was the Lens Baby Velvet 56mm f1.6 lens.
The 50 millimeter?
56. Lens Baby 56.
F1.6.
F1.6.
Huh.
Yep.
That's, wait, and what did that get? Wen May's choice. Oh, that's just one of the editors that picked it?
Yeah, one of the editors' choices. Yep.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even know that was, I knew that they had a 50 and a 35 and an 80, but I didn't know that they had a new one. Oh, the Velvet. We talked
Velvet.
about
Yes,
about
that's
this.
right.
Oh, no.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
It's just so, like, cloudy. It's like you may as well just put Vaseline in front of your lens and, like, strategic position or, like, location and be all
okay.
set.
All right, maybe you'll have better things to say about Allison's choice of the Olympus Tough TG4 gear of the year. Now, we took the little brother of the TG4 to Greece with us.
Yes. Cool camera, yeah. I like the video that we got out of it, like the jumping underwater video and stuff.
Yeah.
And I really like that we could take it with us swimming.
Right.
And that was really fun.
Fantastic quality, and in my mind, more appropriate to take with you for general photography and adventure photography than something like a GoPro, because it did provide very wide angle shots, but you could zoom a little bit and get a slightly nicer perspective, especially if you're taking pictures of people or architecture and things like that, and without so much bendy lines. And just the form factor is just a little bit more friendly to use than something like a GoPro. I totally agree. I think the TG4 is an excellent waterproof camera and the best on the market currently. Richard's choice is the Fuji 56mm f1.2. Now, neither of us are shot with this. I know Fuji has just done a great job of coming out with some really nice lenses this year and just solidified that Fuji XT lineup. So, good for them. Barney's choice, the Sony RX1R Mark II. That is that full frame fixed lens 35mm camera that basically shares the same sensor as the Sony A7R Mark II.
What does he say about it? What does he like about it?
He found himself drawn to it for all the obvious reasons. That doesn't really help you, does it? But shooting them would have left him cold when he's just, he was talking about the original. So it is a fixed 35mm lens with that same Sony sensor that we're shooting with right now, which you love
like
the sensor.
that. I do like the sensor. I also love the idea of a little rangefinder-like camera that you can just take anywhere and really challenge yourself to use, just one focal length.
He loves the excellent resolution, the high resolution built-in EVF, the very accurate, flexible AF system, compact, relatively lightweight form factor, and the large manual controls. Did he have a part where he says what he doesn't love about it? No. That's not. Now the downside, right? This camera is it's $3,300
It's very expensive.
for a. I mean, and you could buy the Sony A7R Mark II for that amount and have interchangeable lenses.
Yeah,
So
we could.
that's tough. That's tough. Again, I haven't had my hands on that camera, so I can't say for sure. But I
feel
do
like
love the output from the Sonys.
If you collect, I mean, that did come before the A7R Mark II.
No, it came after.
It came after?
Yeah, they had the original, but not the Mark II. The Mark II was released after.
Man.
What?
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, the only person that would buy this is somebody who's like, you know, got some money to burn. Like, oh, I want a new camera. You have to have a lot. I mean, you could shoot a wedding with it. You could. I know a lot of
You
photographers
wouldn't.
who could shoot a wedding with it,
Right,
yeah.
right,
Or
yeah.
and who would,
Right.
probably, yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not, you know, any photographers that are still going to do family portraits and things like that would probably not shoot all of it with it,
Right.
you know.
I'm going to just touch on two more of these. We're not done, but two more. One I think is really interesting is Dale's pick of the Samsung NX1.
Really?
I know. It is a fantastic camera, but all signs point to, you know, it's done. And picking that as your gear of the year, if you consider just the gear in a bubble without the ecosystem, then I might agree. But when you say, all right, let's look at what lenses you can put on here, what you can do with this, its future proofness, and all of that red line dropping into the abyss. So I disagree. And it's really interesting. They put the number of comments next to each of these, and that has almost twice as many. Actually, no, there's others with as many comments, but it's got a lot of comments. The last one, Dan's choice is the Nikon D750. Yeah, fantastic. I think that is the best full-frame DSLR you can buy right now. It's a great camera. And I think you might even be able to say it is the best full-frame camera best value full-frame camera you can buy right now. It's very good.
I can agree with that.
Okay. All right. What other lists do we have? Do we want to talk about?
I don't know, do we want to show more of the slideshow for a minute?
Let's show more of people's favorite photos from 2015. Another fantastic group of images. It's so much fun to watch. You know, last year I put them all together as one, and I had to watch it several times to make sure the audio flow. I got a little teary. I got a little teary-eyed. Mm-hmm. It's just so much fun to see what you have picked. And I heard from a lot of you, very difficult to pick just one. And clearly some of you decided you weren't going to pick just one. You were going to give me 9 of them. I can't remember his name. Wayne. Wayne, 9 images. So
Too much, Wayne.
I picked one for you. You know, it made me chuckle.
Do we want to talk about our picks for our favorite things?
Yeah, I teased that last time. Let me pull mine up.
Oh, you wrote yours down?
Well,
no, our favorite photos, you mean?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
what did you mean?
Like our favorite gear.
Oh, favorite gear.
Yes.
Let me show my favorite photo of
Okay.
this year. And
Oh, wow, really? No, I mean, I think it's a great photo.
oh, you're just surprised, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Yes, I believe this is my favorite photo of 2015. You ask me tomorrow, and it might change a little bit. I'll show you one other that I think is in the very close running. But just to be this close to this animal was amazing, and watch it rolling in the snow, and then all of a sudden, as the camera was at my eye, it looked at me, and I snapped this photo. So, you know, this is a moment I feel good that I captured that, you know, nobody else is going to get in this way, which makes it a little bit more special to me.
Yeah.
Because it was a particular time, place, and creature. So,
I believe this creature,
has passed away.
yes,
Yeah, Mekong.
Mekong.
He was quite old.
He was very old.
But it was amazing. And this was part of one of the McKay trips. And that's another thing, looking at many of my photos that were a favorite over the last year was from travel, either with the McKays or on our own. And so
Me too.
We stress that a lot on this channel. And I know not everybody can do it for various different reasons, but, and I think it was David saying it before we even began the show, you know, how can I get away from my gear acquisition syndrome, my gas? And one of the ways to do that and really benefit from is to put that money towards travel, because these experiences are fantastic. They really are quite special. And I look at some of these other ones. My Seattle picture, I really like this photo.
I think it's one of my favorite that you've taken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm really happy with this picture as well. And I told this story on another podcast. You should go back and watch, but you won't. So I'll just say it again, though, that I got lucky in that I took about 11 frames at this location, and 10 of them were completely garbage. And this one came out.
Do you feel like you have grown as a photographer in the last year?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Well, you know, oh, you're putting me on the spot. That's really difficult. I do feel like I've grown as a photographer over the last year. I feel like one of the things that I've become much better about, especially when shooting weddings, is to not only capture that moment, but do it in such a way that I'm able to basically scan the four corners of my frame as I'm capturing that moment, looking for distracting objects. I don't feel like I was doing that as often last year, and I feel more consistent with that. So, and if I see something, taking a second to shift to the right or the left to either hide that or get it out of the frame to capture what I wanted to capture without that distracting stuff in the background. And I mean, most of my growth, I feel like, is working with you and shooting weddings. Out here shooting landscapes, I do feel like I've grown. I think it's harder to put that into words, other than maybe, yeah, I think it's harder to put that into words. The other piece is asking people to move more for me. And I think that's one of the biggest tips we can give anybody photographing people.
Tell them what to do. If you know which side they look best from, or if they look a certain way, or do something with their hand, or they should do those things. If you know it, if you notice it, ask them to do it, because you're going to be taking a better picture of them. Yeah.
That's right. And not even, I would say as soon as you say that, some people go, oh my God, how do I tell which best side there is? I wasn't even going that far. Just tell them to step into the light or out of the light, or, out of that sunspot that's on their face. Just asking them to move just a little bit can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhat related to that, I just want to put a blurb. This is really exciting. This is a text from David, who I saw in the chat room earlier. I don't know how well you can see that. He is writing a book. It is headed off to the publisher in just days. Now you can't see anything because of the screens. Photography Demystified. This is going to be fantastic. He's a fantastic teacher. It's been amazing working with him, watching him teach the students on the McKay trips. So he's putting all of that knowledge, pouring, I think is the word he used, I'd agree, into this book, and that's going to be available soon. I'm going to be writing a foreword for it, so keep an eye out for that very soon. We'll be talking more about it.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what we were talking about before. I want to know what all of you guys, what you feel is something that you have achieved this year, or how you've grown this year in photography. Because, not to get too like sentimental and cheesy, but you know, we're all a work in progress. Our photography is a work in progress. We're constantly growing and getting better, all of us.
Yep.
So I want you guys to leave a comment down below to tell us, you know, what do you think that you have really grown in, or what area of photography do you think? And try to be specific. Like, you know, I think for me, one thing that I really wanted to improve on was really understanding light and how it interacts with film. And I feel like I'm just starting to get it, but I feel like I have come a long way. So, and getting more comfortable shooting film, that was one of my goals. I think it was an unofficial goal, but it ended up being one. And I feel like I've come a long way from that. So, but I continue,
right.
you know, I want to continue to improve upon that. So tell us specifically what it is that you feel like you have really nailed this year.
Right. Just your recent film photos from the barn shoot, the ballet-inspired shoot, are fantastic.
I think that's probably, you know, if I were to pick one of my favorite photos, just like from this year, like right now, that would probably be one of them.
Right. What I love about that, you know, we've got some behind the scenes footage we haven't released yet though, but that was just you and your camera and some barn windows. That's it. We didn't have any fancy lights like we have in here. You didn't use flash, none of that stuff, and the lighting in there is fantastic. If you want to see those, check out Christina's Instagram. Most of the recent pictures you've posted there are from that shoot.
Yes.
Those were all film.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Film is in film. We're doing so good, sounded so smart for so long, and then I just ruined it and woke up Liam. So,
Liam, did we?
You know, Roy asked at the very moment that you asked too. He said, "What about you all? What did you learn?" Remember, chat room folks, we love seeing what you're chatting right now. I love reading that stuff. But as Christina said, make sure you put it down in the comments, and also take a moment to give this a thumbs up if you haven't already. I've got a Mashable article that is 7 New Year's resolutions every photographer should make.
All right.
I haven't looked at it yet. I just saw the title. Let's look at it all together. Number 1, move away from the center.
Yes. I feel like...
Is this Instagram? Yeah, okay.
I feel like this is
Hand on my
something
shoulder.
that you have really grown in a lot. I think that you used to, for a couple of reasons, and I think you guys might be able to relate because I know I've done it before, is because I set my focus point on the center and I forget to recompose, or because I just approach a scene and I feel like a moment's about to happen and I just like don't have time to recompose. So, but it's all about not being able to recompose, I think, more than anything else. So I feel like you've really grown in that area. I think, you know, we probably both could still grow a little bit more, but...
All right. I think that working with the square of Instagram really does help with that.
It does, yeah.
That's their idea here too as well. But this seems to be very Instagram centered. I didn't know that before. But it said, forget your filters, embrace the sliders. Yeah, I never use the filters. I shouldn't say never use them, barely use them. Go manual. It's a big stepping, this isn't Instagram related. Big stepping stone for budding photographers. You know, learn to control and adjust your exposure manually. I think that's good. And that doesn't mean you always have to shoot in manual, but I think understanding and knowing that, David's book would be a great place to start with that, will help you that. Avoid shooting in bad light. Yeah. But I think this is one that a lot of people hear and just say yes, and we've even talked about it before, but there are simple things you can do if you have to shoot in bad light to make it better. We talked about that in some of the Grease vlogs.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. But break that rule every now and then. Oh, okay. I see, this is why you should read articles before you blow out the background.
That's one of my personal favorites.
Is it really?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I shoot backlit often, although I've tried to move away from that because I feel like that's a little bit of a crutch for me.
Okay. I think this is one of those beginner ones, though, where people always expect to capture everything in a proper exposure, foreground, background, and you're not going to. And so a way to make the background not look bad is to get rid of it completely by blowing it out.
And I would say also that in many instances, it works to your benefit to just let things like that happen. If you don't have a perfect exposure in the highlights and the shadow areas, you know, it can oftentimes just really give the audience, the viewer, a good idea of what this place, what this scene was really like. You know, oftentimes I see photographers really bring out the background in a certain scene, and it's kind of cool, but sometimes like the background's not that interesting, and I think the picture would have a lot more mood. It would be a lot, I don't know, it would have a lot more, you know, it would feel better if it was just like, just let that background blow out. Of course, I mean, you know, every situation is different, every photo's different, but.
And embrace imperfections.
Yeah.
The technically perfect photo isn't always the best. Off-kilter composition, a little bit of motion blur, slightly askew colors.
Yes.
That's true.
So many, I've noticed like so many
back
of the pictures that I really like have these kinds of imperfections. Like I love to see motion in photographs, just like very, or like I've been very okay, not to, I mean, I feel like I'm talking way too much about what I've noticed in my own photography, but been okay with having just slightly out of focus pictures because I just really liked something else about it. Something else about it really spoke to me. So, yeah. So, yeah, this is cool.
It's important to make, you know, imperfections are okay, but they have, notice that it was specifically motion blur and not handshake blur. Or
right.
That's a huge difference.
The key here is, I think the key here is, you know, intention. Like, was this intentional? Were you doing it on purpose, or was it an accident? And sometimes there can be happy accidents. That's fine, but yeah, like motion blur is not the same as, or handshake's not the same as motion in a photo.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's go to. I just want to mention that Canon Rumors, we don't need to show this, Riley, but Canon Rumors talked about the worst products released by Canon in 2015. They also talked about the best. The best are boring, I don't care. The worst, though, I think it's really funny, the Canon XC10. That's that funky video camera thing. We put our hands on it, Photo Plus.
that thing's still weird.
And a runner-up to worst product of the year from Canon is the Canon EOS M3, the little mirrorless, which, you know, I talked to those guys at the booth at Photo Plus, and they were like, you know, it's pretty good, but they are so far behind Sony and Fuji and Olympus in their mirrorless system that's not even funny. Keep hearing 2016 is going to be Canon's mirrorless year. I'll believe it when I see it. They really do need to. If they make it all the way through 2016 without bringing something serious to the table, that's going to be really sad. I feel like Nikon will. They seem to be a little bit more in touch with the time. Let's look at the top 10 best-selling photos on 500 Pix over 2015, and then we'll look at a few more of your favorite photos. So I was surprised by some of these because I felt like they would feel much more stock photography as being the best-selling. But they do to some degree, but there are also some beautiful landscape photos in here as well. And let's just take a moment and scroll through. In Iceland.
Very cool. Oh, that puffin is so cool.
One puffin. And the blue cave. These volcanoes. And then the number one, the 2 and then 1 do feel very stock photography. This makes sense to me because people are looking for images like this to use in their presentations and brochures, and these feel it. Number 2, I don't know. I'm really distracted by that red bottle here in this.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice it.
Oh, okay. So it's fine then. But it is also an advertisement for Mac, as there are a bunch of Macs just all lined up right there.
That is
Lots
true.
of them. Same with this as well. And a moleskin. Macs and moleskin. All right. Hey, should we switch to, let's see, we got 2 more sections of the fave photos to run. Should we do the Instagram and then run fave photos and talk a little bit about a couple more news stories and then wrap up?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so the Instagram challenge of the past 2 weeks was holiday. And
Yes, it was.
as someone wrote to me early on, I think it might have been Angela, it was like, I thought it was so weird. There were all these vacation pictures in there. And us Americans, in our American brain, think holiday, Christmas, and New Year's, and, well, this time of year. But people outside America are like, yeah, I go on holiday all the time. I went on holiday in June. I went on holiday in May, because that's vacation. So we got a mix of photos. I think I ended up choosing the ones that were a holiday as Americans think of it.
Okay.
But I want to start with my winner. And that is this one from Chronos Tech. This is a Diwali celebration, and I love this green, the tone of this image, so bright, so colorful, and it framed very nicely. I think this is a beautiful image. I love it. So that's my winner, and I got 2 runners up. One from Maxence of, this is in Baltimore.
Oh, is this the Hamden Lights?
These are the Hamden Lights, which we were, I think, because he had another one in here that was similar, very, very close by. But this just...
We were just there.
The gold star and the riot of lights behind it, I really liked. I think this is a nice image, and it's a great image. Thank you, Maxence.
It's a nice image, and it's a great image.
And Jay... is that what I said?
Yes.
And Jay Stern, 77... talk about leading lines. The actually, as I look at it right now, is it a tiny bit crooked? It might be, but there's a simplicity to this image while still having a holiday theme to it that really appealed to me, and I liked it. Are you ready to move on to your winner?
Yes. So this image is just breathtaking, and I don't think that this is like Christmas themed. I think this is like holiday vacation type thing. It's just beautiful. The light in here is amazing.
The light is amazing. I saw this and I wished that the front of the truck was not touching the other side of the little valley. That's what I wished.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't see that. I just saw the light streaming in through that.
Okay. And then
those cells.
An honorable mention?
Yeah, so I really like the blue tones. It's just such a great winter scene. It's beautiful.
I want to just go ahead and put this on my honorable mention list too. I kept coming back to it and I ended up with these other ones, but I loved the tone of this and just that little bit of white patch with the lit up cross. I thought it was very nice. Thank you, David. And Crispies, Chris at Crispy.
I like this photo feels very cinematic to me. I really like how her face is lit. I think it's really easy in a situation like this to either overlight a picture so that, you know, all of it is very artificial, all the light's very artificial looking, or to get really terrible like raccoony eyes and like light it poorly, like too little light or too much light. And I think that this is perfect because I can get a feel of the scene, what it looks like. You know, I thought it was really great. So
great. Thank you all for your Instagram challenges. And we're going to take a little break because we're taking a little break from the show. We're not going to be back until, is it January? Let me click my date calendar here. January 13th. We are coming back to you all on January 13th. We'll be traveling next week with the McKays.
Look out for some vlogs, though.
That's right. We're going to Yosemite for their winter photography workshop. Super excited about that. Keep an eye out for the vlogs, as Christina said. And related to Instagram, actually, you know what? Let's run the next section of your favorite photos.
Yes, let's
right now.
do that.
Let's see if Riley's still awake and he got it. He got it. Another great group of photos.
Yes.
What was your favorite in there?
The one with the sunset.
All right. So one of the things that I thought was neat, I saw somebody else do this earlier, is there is this website called 2015best9.com that will show you your best Instagram photos. Best as measured by the number of likes. Now, looking at mine, I'll share it with you in just a second, but it is heavily weighted. I grew on Instagram a good bit this year, so it's heavily weighted towards the end of the year. I wish they used the metric of maybe like percentage of likes versus followers. So wouldn't that give you...
Next year.
Well, maybe they'll do that next. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to make that app.
That's your get rich quick scheme.
Right. How is this
these guys aren't.
They're not making it. Oh, they actually have an app coming.
Oh, they do.
Wow. Why would you? Okay.
That's
anyway.
great marketing.
So here are my best 9 Instagram posts as voted by you all by liking them over the last year, and again weighted towards the end of the year because of different things. Number 1, our picture with the Northrops.
As it should be.
A lot of fun because they got tagged and other people came over and liked it as well. The other thing that stands out to me about this is you all like them blurry waterfall pictures.
Yes.
5 of my 9 are waterfall pictures. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 of my 9. What is 5 of 9 is photos taken on the McKay trips. We got 3 waterfalls from Iceland and 2 fall color tours with the McKays. So again, getting out there and traveling. And then the other ones were nice where you all liked the picture where we got the little plaque that's on the wall just out of the site you can't see that is for hitting 100,000 subscribers this year, the Northrops, and going through that tunnel.
Okay, my turn.
Just the other day. Christina's turn. Yours. Not 2015 best 9. Anything to say about them?
Not so much, except for that I think it's really funny that my top picture was one I posted yesterday. So I guess a lot of people liked that one, which I was really proud of that one. So yeah, it's interesting. I like seeing my Instagram as a feed because it kind of shows the different sort of color patterns and different stylistic aesthetics that I like.
Approaches?
Yeah.
To your photography?
Not approaches, just like the pictures that I'm most drawn to that I feel like I want to share. So, I don't know. I think it's a representation of sort of like the things that I like most that I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, travel, Greece, Paris.
Yes.
Greece was with the McKays. Paris was on our own on the way to the McKays. And yay, Bean made it.
He did.
That is a great pose from Bean down there in the bottom right corner, who you don't see too often on the show because he doesn't like to lay on the table as much as Liam does. Right, Liam? All right. Do we have just one more section of favorite photos, Riley? Is that right? Just one more section.
Okay, so we're going to talk about photos from space.
Yes, that's right.
And then we're going to wrap up, and at the very end, we're just going to roll the rest of the pictures.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Okay. That's what we're going to do. No after show today.
We hadn't discussed it, so.
No after show today. All right, so our NASA released their top 15 Earth images of 2015. So this is our images from space, actually photos from space. And they're neat. The first one is neat because it's got these giant dust plumes that you can just see streaming across huge swaths of Earth that are large, very big. This one I like because it uses the word VOG. I'd never heard that before, but it is a term used as a combination of fog, smog, and volcanic. It's well known apparently in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, so I didn't know that. But I love the 3D perspective of those volcanoes there, the Hawaiian Islands as well. The amazing Sierra Nevada mountains in northern Colombia. Sierra Nevada descent. Okay. Scandinavia at night with the Aurora Borealis happening above it. Pretty fantastic. Good air and brown water, Argentina. Interesting. The Himalayas and this one of the things that really appeals to me about nature is this kind of the similarities and patterns and the dendritic nature of streams and trees and human veins and wind patterns. It's very interesting. Wow, what is this? Laguna Colorada, Bolivia.
Wow, that's so cool. That looks like caramel.
It does. What is it? The brightly colored, unique, helps images make, the images are very clear here because the lake is at 14,000 feet, so the air is very clear. It's a strong red-brown color. The shallow 10-kilometer lake is derived from algae that thrive in its salt water. But the lake occasionally has green phases. Okay. Number 8, Adele Island in northwest Australia. Beautiful colors around it. Look at all that beachy sand. Salt ponds in Western Australia.
Gosh, that's so cool.
That is. And number 10, Shaping Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And it's just neat how you can see
like
the
a claw.
currents. It is a little bit like a claw, but I think what's really cool here is you can see the currents, the onshore and offshore currents pulling and moving the sand and changing the shape of the land. So there they are, the top 10 images from space by NASA. Liam, what do you think?
Liam thinks
They're
he's
great.
licking himself.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going to finish up.
Yep.
Now, typically we have a Q&A, but this is a special shorter show because, well, we got people that are hungry downstairs, and it's 2015 and our last show. We'll be back for
January
a
13th.
full regular show where we'll answer your questions live. We will announce an Instagram challenge next week that will end at that following week. So watch out for that. We just don't have one for you right now. And start thinking about your New Year's resolutions because we're going to start talking about those next year. We had these Mashable article. I'll let you know how successful I felt about my 2015 New Year's resolution. Not very successful.
I didn't make any, so I nailed it.
Okay. That's like saying I didn't try, so I'm a winner. I'm sure there's some
Winner,
slogan
winner,
somewhere.
Chicken dinner.
Okay. All right. And thank you all so very much. A special thank you to those Patreon supporters who spend their money supporting this show and all of what we do on this channel. It has made things like Riley possible, which I hope you all would agree has made these most recent shows better, more solid. Still improvements to be had for sure, but we really appreciate
And things like, hey, these new mics we got.
That's right. That's right.
So y'all stop complaining about audio.
Well, I'm sure there'll be people that complain, especially when we get it wrong, because sometimes it does go wrong. Sometimes it's YouTube's fault, sometimes it's our fault, and that's embarrassing, but it happens. So,
It does happen.
Yes, thank you. Everybody have a happy and safe New Year. Happy 2016. Thumbs up to this show. Leave a comment of what you really what was the question?
What did you grow? What aspect of photography did you grow in most this year?
Okay.
Or what thing did you feel like you really got right or succeeded at?
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to run the last set of favorite images, your favorite images of 2015. Thanks so much for watching, folks.
Goodbye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you next